Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time there lived a lovely little princess named Snow White. Her vain and wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that one day Snow White's beauty would surpass her own. So she dressed the little princess in rags and forced her to work as a servant in the castle. Each day the queen consulted her magic mirror. Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? As long as the mirror responded in Queen's favor, Snow White was safe. One day, as Snow White was drawing water from a well, she made a wish. She wished that the one she loved would find her, and she dreamt about how nice he would be. As she gazed into the wishing well, she saw another face reflected in the water. It belonged to a handsome prince. "Hello, did I frighten you? Please don't run away." But the startled princess had fled to her balcony, where she could watch him from afar. At that moment, the queen was spying on Snow White and the prince. When she saw them together, she flew into a jealous rage and rushed her magic mirror, demanding an answer. "Fame is thy beauty, majesty, but hold. A lovely maid I see. Rags cannot hide her gentle grace. She is more fair than thee. Alas for her, reveal her name. Lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, skin white as snow. Snow White." Furious, the queen sent for her huntsman. "Take Snow White far into the forest. Find some secluded glade where she can pick up wild flowers, and there, my faithful huntsman, you will kill her." "But, your majesty, the little princess." "Silence! You know the penalty if you fail." Knowing that he dared not disobey the queen, the huntsman led Snow White into the forest. But then it came time to harm Snow White. He stopped and fell to his knees. "I can't do it. Forgive me, your highness." Why? I don't understand." "The queen is mad. She is jealous of you. She will stop at nothing. Now quick, child, run away. Hide in the woods, anywhere, and never come back." Frightened and alone, Snow White ran into the forest. Blazing eyes peered out at her from the darkness. Eerie shrieks pierced the air. The branches of trees grabbed at her. Finally, she could run no further and collapsed to the ground, sobbing. When Snow White looked up, she saw several forest animals gathered around her. "Hello, do you know where I can stay? Maybe in the woods somewhere?" Snow White followed the animals to a charming little cottage in the woods. She knocked at the door, but no one answered, so she went inside. "Oh, it's adorable, just like a doll's house. What a cute little chair." "Why, there are 7 little chairs. There must be 7 little children. And, by the look of the table, 7 untidy children. I know I will clean the house and surprise them. Then maybe they will let me stay." With the help of her animal friends, Snow White cleaned the cottage in no time. Then she decided to check upstairs. What adorable little beds. And look, they have names carved on them. Dog, Happy, Sneezy, Dopey. What a funny names for children. And there's Grumpy, Bashful, and Sleepy. I am a little sleepy myself. Snow White lay down across 3 of the tiny beds and fell asleep. Just then, the owners of the cottage came marching home. They weren't children at all, but 7 dwarfs who worked all day in a diamond mine. As they came into a clearing, the one named Dog made everyone halt. He peered through his glasses. "Look, our house! The lights lit, doors open, chimneys smoking. Something is in there." The dwarfs peek inside the cottage. Dog gasps. "Why, the whole place is clean." Grumpy, true to his name, crossed his arms and said, Mark my words, there is a trouble brewing. I felt it coming in all day. Suddenly the dwarfs thought they heard a sound. Dog looked towards the stairs. It's up there in the bedroom. Cautiously, the 7 men went to investigate. Dog slowly opened the door and peered in. Why, it's a girl. As the dwarfs approached the sleeping princess, she began to stir. She's waking up. Hide! Dog dashed behind the beds, and the other dwarfs ran after him. Snow White yawned and stretched. Then she noticed 7 pairs of eyes looking all over the end of the beds. She sat smiling. How do you do? How do you do what? Grumpy folded his arms, calling. Snow White laughed. Let me guess. You must be Grumpy. Heh, I know who I am. Who are you? Oh, how silly of me. I'm Snow White. The princess? Dog looked very impressed, but Grumpy frowned. Tell her to back where she belongs. Snow White pleaded with her host. Please don't send me away. If you do, the queen will kill me. Grumpy shook his head. The queen is an old witch. If she finds you here, she will swoop down and take her vengeance on all of us. Oh, she will never find me here. And if you let me stay, I will keep the cows for you. I will wash and sew and sweep and cook. Cook? Dog rubbed his tummy. Hooray, she stays. Back in the castle, the wicked queen stood before her mirror. Magic mirror on the wall, who is now fairest one of all? Beyond the 7th fall, in the cottage of the 7 dwarfs, Snow White still lives, fairest one of all. I've been tricked. I go myself to the dwarfs' cottage in the woods. I will go in disguise so complete no one will suspect me. The queen concocted a magic potion and then transformed herself into an ugly old peddler woman. And now a special sort of death for one so fair. What should it be? Ah, a poisoned apple. One taste and Snow White's eyes will close. She will sleep forever and only to be reviewed by love's first kiss. No fear of that. The dwarves will think she's dead and bury her alive. Back at the cottage, Snow White was saying goodbye to the dwarfs as they set off for work. As she kissed each one of the head, Dog stood close by. Now, don't forget, my dear, the old queen's a sly one, full of witchcraft, so be aware. Grumpy frowned. Now I'm warning you, do not let anybody or anything in the house. Snow White smiled at him. Why? Grumpy, you do care. Huh. Shortly after the dwarfs had left, the old peddler woman appeared at the cottage. All alone, my pet? Snow White nodded as the old woman sniffed the air. Making pies? Yes, gooseberry pies. Ah, it's apple pies that makes the men's folks' mouths water. Pies make the apples like these. She lifted a shiny red apple from her basket. Like to try one, dearie? Go on, have a bite. Sensing that Snow White was in danger, several birds swooped down the woman, knocking the apple out of her hand. Snow White tried to shoo the birds away. Stop it! Go away! Shame on you, frightening the poor old lady. Oh, my heart! Oh, my poor heart! Take me to the house and let me rest. A drink of water, please. Unable to let Snow White understand, the birds and animals raced to alert the dwarfs. At the mine, they pulled and tugged at the confused little man. Grumpy growled. What ails these crazy critters? They aren't acting this way for nothing. Dog thought about it. Maybe it's the queen. Grumpy galloped off the back of a deer. Snow White is in danger. We've got to save her. Meanwhile, the queen picked up the poison apple. Because you've been so good to a poor old woman, I'll share a secret with you. This is not an ordinary apple. It's a magic wishing apple. A wishing apple? Really? Yes, one bite and all your dreams will come true. The old woman grinned at the princess. Perhaps there is someone you love? Snow White remembered the prince. Well, there is someone. I thought so. Old Granny knows a young girl's heart. Now make a wish and take a bite. Snow White did so. Oh, I feel strange. A moment later, she fell to the ground. A sudden storm began to rage as the dwarfs reached the cottage when they found the lifeless Snow White. Through the rain, Grumpy spotted the old hag disappearing into the forest. There she goes, men! After her! The dwarfs chased the queen up a steep cliff. You little fools! I will crush your bones! She tried desperately to pry a boulder loose to crush them. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning shattered the ledge, sending the wicked queen into the valley below. Though the evil queen was gone forever, the princess was still locked in her spell. So beautiful was she, even in death, that the dwarfs could not find in their hearts to bury her. Dog, brush tear away. Let's make her a coffin out of glass and gold. That way we can still see her and keep her constant watch by her side. The prince heard of the beautiful maiden who slept in the glass coffin. He rode to the cottage, the 7 dwarfs, and they took him to Snow White. Gently he kissed her. Then slowly her eyes began to open. The spell was broken. Love's first kiss had brought her back to life. Snow White's wish finally came true. She bid the 7 dwarfs goodbye, and the handsome prince swept her into his arms. Soon wedding bells rang, echoing throughout the forest. From then on, Snow White and her Prince Charming lived in the castle happily ever after.